Yesterday, the official trailer for Expeditions, a MudRunner game officially dropped, and a lot of people have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions. Now, if you look at the comments on the official trailer itself, you'll see one variety of comments, or actually probably 3-4 different varieties of comments, to be honest, and if you look at the comments on my breakdown video, you will also see a wide variety of comments. Some, again, very positive, some in the middle, and some not so great. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go into my own personal opinions and how I'm feeling about this moving forward, what my opinions are about the game itself, what my opinions are about what I saw, and do a little bit more of a actual opinion piece on the trailer rather than breaking it down and dissecting everything about it and dissecting all the new features, which is really, really good to do. And if you haven't watched that video, I highly encourage that you go over and watch my full breakdown video where we actually go through and look at a lot of the different new pieces and bits that the game is going to actually offer us. But in this video, like I said before, it's going to be a little bit more of an opinion-based video, and so do keep that in mind. And if you agree with my opinions, let me know. If you disagree with my opinions and you think that they are
absolutely entirely stupid and very off base, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear.
Now, as I've had more time to think about what I saw in the trailer and sort of digest what I saw in the trailer, I've been thinking to myself more and more how I wonder if this game is going to be treated more like a spin-off rather than a sort of official main chapter in the series. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I'm curious if that is something that this is going to be, treated as. I don't know. Another thing that I've seen a lot of people in the community concerned about is, I really have seen a lot of people saying, just blanket saying, that it's just going to be a scouting game and there isn't going to be any hauling and they're not going to get it because of that. But here's the thing, we haven't heard from the developers on whether or not it's gonna just be scouting or if it's gonna have hauling as well. And with all of the success of MudRunner and SnowRunner, especially in the realm of, hauling-based missions, I would be extremely surprised if they just threw them out. And also, when you look at teaser images like this one, we see vehicles that not only we've seen in SnowRunner before, but vehicles that are designed for moving cargo, like the 8x8 behind the loaf, or the truck on the left as well, which I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now, but I do remember that it was able to pull trailers that were way bigger than you would have thought just by looking at it initially. So do I personally think that hauling is going anywhere, or rather disappearing? No, I don't, especially considering the fact that it looks like base building will be a part of the gameplay as well. I mean, will it be the main aspect of gameplay? Maybe not, but I don't think it's going away, especially with all of the things that they've shown. I would be shocked if it were to go away. And now we get to the part where it's time to talk about the slight mix-up that has been made in announcing the release platforms. And what do I mean by this? Well, in the description of the release trailer on their YouTube channel, they say the game will be released on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. However, on their website, they say, and I'm quoting here, platforms, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, but there's no mention of PC in there. But here's the thing. I don't think that this has anything to do with, I've heard people saying out there that, oh, this is some crazy mix-up. It wouldn't be on Steam if it wasn't coming out on PC. So I think, really, at the end of the day, it's a mix-up on the part of the developers on the website rather than a mix-up anywhere else. And based on the fact that we already have a Steam page, I'm going to go with the YouTube description being accurate as opposed to the website. And now I want to talk about another thing that I've seen a lot throughout the community, and I wanted to weigh in on it and give my 2 cents. Now, what that is the debate around the fact that this is releasing on previous gen consoles and current gen consoles, because there are some people where they are extremely happy that it is releasing on previous gen consoles, especially PS4 players. I've seen a lot of PS4 players that have been commenting on both my video and the official release trailer. Oh my god, I'm so excited that it's still going to be on the previous gen consoles. However, you also have the other side of the coin, which is saying these previous generation consoles are holding back the game and are holding back the developer's ability to push the game and the series further. And there are some people that are even going so far as to say things like, oh, this is why it looks so much like SnowRunner and rather doesn't look radically different, because they had to hold it back in order to, I'm saying that in air quotes, but had to quote unquote hold it back in order to make it compatible with the older generation hardware. And this can be an extremely divisive issue to talk about, because in some cases, if you say that you are excited that a game is only releasing on current gen consoles, then there are going to be people that will say, oh, well, so you just want anybody on an older generation console to be left behind. You don't care about people that are only on older generation consoles. But at the same time, if you say that you're glad that it's also releasing on older generation consoles, you'll have some people that'll say, oh, well, you're just holding the game back and you don't want the game to develop any further, and you're just trying to, cater to the people on the old gen consoles and you're not letting the game grow. And here's where I really stand on this. Like, I want the largest amount of people to be able to play and enjoy this game. I get it. I also completely understand that there are people out there that maybe can't afford a new console. And that's completely understandable. And I would never go after somebody for that or tell them they were holding back a series by, wanting to play, just expressing the fact that they want to play it on an older system. I would never go after somebody for that. But at the same time, from a logistics and game development standpoint, it does make sense that if the developers have to make the game playable for both the prior generation and the current generation, then they are going to have to make certain sacrifices in terms of either gameplay or graphics or quality of simulation or just overall load that the game can put on the system, and also the amount of resources the game can use, because, well, there's only so much resources that they have to work with, especially if they're trying to develop a game that works on the current generation and the prior generation. Now, there are some ways around this issue, and that would be to build two separate versions of the game, one for current gen and one for prior gen. But we've seen this with some other games before that have tried to do that, and they've wound up just kind of upsetting the people on the prior gen because they ended up getting a game that had so much less content and had so much less things to do. Like, for example, when I believe it was Forza Horizon 3 released on the newer generation and had a sort of separate version of the game that was released on the older generation, which at the time would have been Xbox 360 or Xbox One, the newer being Xbox One and older being Xbox 360, and people with the prior generation version ended up getting very upset about it, but at the same time, the newer version of the new game wouldn't have even hoped to be able to run on the older generation console. So it's kind of one of those gives and takes where I think at a certain point developers have to understand that they are going to upset some parts of their community no matter what choice they make. And that's unfortunately one of the kind of more sad realities, I think, of a long-running game series, because there are going to be people that at a certain point, maybe they either don't want to get a new console or they're not in a position to, or, maybe they're not interested enough in one particular game series in order to buy a new console just to keep playing the new installment in that series. But I think sometimes when that happens, they end up taking their anger out on the game, or they end up taking their anger out on other parts of the community, and it just creates an environment that's not really healthy for anybody. And lastly, we're going to address the sort of elephant in the, well, I guess kind of sort of elephant in the room comment that I've been seeing thrown around all over the place. And I originally wasn't going to talk about this, but I kind of feel like I need to. And I have been seeing so many comments out there, so many, both on my video and the other places that the trailer has dropped, of people saying, oh, that just looks like a SnowRunner DLC, it should have been an expansion, that's not a new game, it doesn't deserve to be called a new game, and I'm not interested in blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the thing, though. We haven't played it yet. And I'm not here to tell you, like, what opinions to have on a game or anything like that. Your opinions are your own. All of our opinions are our own. You know what I mean? Like, if there's one thing that we are, like, entitled to on games, it's our own personal opinions of them. And I get that. However, we have not played it yet. And I strongly suggest that you reserve total judgment until you get a chance to at least get a little bit more of an in-depth look at it. That's what I'm doing, and, you know, I have my own apprehensions regarding expeditions as well, but I am remaining hopeful, remaining cautiously optimistic, because I think there is a chance that we could still have a really fun game on our hands, even if we don't really know what the overall direction of it is. And so I caution people against a purely dismissive mindset. But with that all being said and done, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And if you're new around here and you want to stay as up to date as possible on expeditions as well as anything and everything Runner series related, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time.